You tuned in to Chicago's favorite urban alternative. I'm your host, Bekoe, and alongside me, I got a very special guest. This artist bends several genres into one. On top of that, they also have my mother saying, who made this song, Stop Calling the Police on Me? They go by the name of Dreamer, Isioma. How you doing, Dreamer?
I feel great. I'm happy to be here.
Now, I got to ask you about the name Dreamer Isioma. How did you come up with the title for your name, and does Isioma have a meaning to it?
Yeah. So Isioma is my given name. I think my grandpa named me. So it's funny. There's kind of two meanings. Isia comes from like a older version of Yoruba, which is like a language spoken in Nigeria, which is where I'm from. And it could mean star. So like my name could mean Dreamer Star. But when you add ma to the name Isioma, it technically translates to good head. So take that as you like to take it. But that is what it means.
Look, ain't nothing like some good head, you know.
Amen.
Isioma. Now, my last name is Bekoe. So as I see, we both have, African roots. And, with you having a Nigerian background, I gotta know, how was that for you growing up? Like, were your parents strict? Were your parents strict, or in general, how was it growing up with a Nigerian background?
I would say they started out strict, but I guess they got more calm as I got older. So that was nice.
Now, with them being calm, it's good that happened, because look at how you've exploded musically. And, since we're on the topic of music, when I mentioned earlier, genre bending, like you're able to bend so many sounds into one unit. And with you being on that type of stature of sound, I gotta know, like, how are you able to do this, Dreamer? Like, with you bending so many different genres together, what's some of your influences that allow you to really test the waters of sound?
Well, I grew up kind of listening to everything. Because I grew up in a pretty strict religious home. All I could listen to was Christian music and Christian rock. But when I got older and started exploring different genres, I was listening to music from Lady Gaga, pop music, to Pierce the Veil, metal, heavy stuff. And I don't know, I think from my overexposure and also growing up on the internet, it allows me to think differently and think outside the box.
And speaking of internet, I'm gonna take it back to March 2nd, 2020. I got a DM from you.
Oh, for real?
It says, hey, I really appreciate you playing hard on Vocalo today. I never forget that DM, because I'm pretty sure now, 2 years later, your career has just flourished, and I know your DMs is filled with all types of things.
Yeah, a little bit.
And that was also, almost around the time the pandemic hit. So, since the pandemic has hit, and, you've been big on growth, how have you grown throughout this pandemic and, and into this new year as well?
I would say that I've grown a lot. I've just been trying to learn more about myself and grow closer to the ones who I love and love me. And also just been learning a lot about the universe and science and stuff like that. I just am trying to learn as much as I can.
Have you had any time to, I guess, learn more about science as far as school?
Kind of. I wouldn't say I go to school for it, but I do say that I do a lot of reading. I read a lot about it. I do a lot of research on it. My whole YouTube feed is space. It's I don't know. That's just my vibe, I guess.
I mean, do you have anything you can share to our listeners that blew your mind, that you learned, as you learn more about science?
All I can say is that there's a lot more than what we don't know. There's a lot more of what we don't know than what we do know. Like, we're not the center of the universe. There are planets that are very similar to Earth that we can't reach. People are building spaceships, like time machines, and nobody's talking about it. That's not what's trending. You know what I'm saying? But it's happening. There's some really cool stuff going on. And I feel like more people should be tapped into what people are building.
You just put me on. You say time is. Look, I got to go do my research.
Oh yeah, they just launched this telescope. It's called the James Webb Telescope. They launched it like last year, and it's basically able to see the Big Bang, essentially. Like a couple, well, not really the Big Bang. It's a couple 100,000 years after it, but we're getting to see like the first stars that ever existed, like, period. And even in that, we get to see like what life was like. That was many years ago, like before Earth, before our solar system type thing. Like, it's pretty cool.
This kind of reminds me of the Netflix film. You seen Don't Look Up yet?
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
Let's get into the music. You know, you pretty much have your debut album, Goodnight Dreamer. You got to talk to us about like the recording process, because from my knowledge, you started to put things together back in like 2020.
Yeah, so I was writing. A couple of the songs that made the album were written like a long time ago, like you said, 2020. And I started conceptualizing like, oh, I want to travel through time, through like history. Like, I want to travel through like the history of humanity through music. And that was kind of like my goal. But recording it was a movie, because we don't have a real studio. Like, we don't go pull up somewhere nice downtown like all these cool Chicago people be on. Like, no, we are in my homie St. Louis's basement, me and the band. We had to Google how to record drums, like literally in there, asking like for measuring tape and like building like a whole bunch of stuff to make sure that it's recorded as professionally as possible, literally building the booth. Like, there was one day where me and Isaiah Versus just spent the whole day taping pads, like foam pads on the walls, so that way we can make it sound as professional. Like, we really built it from the ground up, just me and a bunch of Chicago kids just trying to make shit shake, you know what I'm saying? So it was really fun. It was a really big learning process, and I think we all like grew together a lot, like as a band, to make it sound like, I don't know, as professional as possible, because people don't know that like we recorded it very DIY.
Look, I got to give you kudos on that, because that's growth. that's big growth right there. And hearing you say that, man, I'm excited to really see what you have in store for the future, because that shows everyone you really took out time, not just to do the music, but also putting the aspects behind putting the music together. And I was going to bring up too, you know, how was it different from you putting out your EPs? But it sounds like that was the biggest difference, if I'm not mistaken.
No, yeah, most definitely, because my EPs, I consider my EPs just me learning how to make music, period. Like, me and my producers, St. Louis and Frankie, like, we were learning how to use Ableton and Logic as we were making it. I was literally learning how far away to stand from a microphone as I was making those projects. Like, they weren't even mastered, not properly engineered. Like, we were just learning. Like, so now with Goodnight Dreamer, this is kind of showing what we've learned and like what we really can do with like the right backing and the right support.
So Dreamer, how long have you all been making music?
I mean, for me, I feel like I've been making music forever. Like, I grew up playing like instruments in the orchestra and stuff. But honestly, like, I didn't start dropping not too soon before I dropped Sensitive. Like, yeah, pretty new.
I mean, look at it. Music is very impactful, and you surpassed over 100+ million streams on all DSPs. I want to know, like, how was your excitement then when you saw that, okay, I'm putting this music out and it's really, it's gaining attention and fast? How was that for you?
It was crazy and just like really funny because like people who know me know I'm like regular, like I'm goofy, like I be doing like weird stuff, but overall like I just be living my life day to day. But to have people like noticing me in the street, like for real, like noticing me like everywhere I go, even to the point where like over Christmas break, I went home to Nigeria and like people were recognizing me at the club. I'm like, this is crazy. Like it's just, I'm very grateful and like, it's just crazy to me.
Now let's talk about music videos. You recently released Bad Tink. Amazing video, by the way. You also, of course, have Sensitive out. You got Stop Calling Police on Me. But what people may not know is you actually write storylines for your videos. And I want to know, like, how does the storyline come about? Is it before the writing process? Is it as you're writing these songs?
It's typically after I write the song. Honestly, sometimes after I like have conceptualized the project, is when I start writing or thinking about videos.
Was there ever any challenges for any of your videos where you felt like, it was some obstacles, but you still got it done?
There's always an obstacle. Every single video I shoot is something hectic. Like for example, for Bad Ting, that is real water that we're in. We drove to Wisconsin at the ass crack of dawn. Me and a team of maybe 5-6 other people. It's cold. People in the crew don't know how to swim. There was a rainstorm as soon as we said cut. Like a lot of things happen, but we just make it work with what we got. And it always comes out raw. Shout out Michael De Rosario who shot that one. He's the GOAT. He also shot the video for and King from the Leo Sunsets.
Shout out to the crew, because y'all make it do what it do. And hearing you say that problems occur all the time as a viewer, I didn't see anything.
Yeah, you don't know.
But good vibes and fun times.
Yeah.
How many tracks can people expect on this project?
There's 13 tracks.
For you, at least, what's your most personable record on Goodnight Dreamer?
I feel like I'm So Done With You shows a side of me that people don't really see because it's more of like an angry like type song.
Cause you friendly and like to have fun.
I be feeling like people don't know I'm actually crazy as hell. Like people don't know.
I will say it seems like you're fun to be around. I can't wait for you to hit the stage as well. Hopefully, there's an event set up for you soon.
Yeah, there's a listening party or a release party, I should say, for Goodnight Dreamer on March 5th. It's gonna be lit. It's gonna be very fun.
Do you have a link that people can head over to so they can RSVP?
Yo. It's in my website. If you click on the flyer or just like go on my Instagram, look for the flyer. It's on Eventbrite. If you go on Eventbrite and literally just type like Goodnight Dreamer release party, you'll probably find it.
Now let's talk about mental health, because mental health is also, a thing here in Chicago that a lot of people, discuss about, that they see some issues here where it can be better services, better spaces. And, with you also raising awareness for mental health, what are some things you feel like the city should focus on? And also, what are you trying to bring to the table to at least continue to build mental awareness?
Personally, I think these teachers are working very hard. I think these counselors in these schools are working as hard as they can, but they just don't have the resources that the city literally can provide. I think they need to take these police out these schools. I don't like police. I make it very clear. Stream, stop calling the police on me. There's just a lot that can be done. Mm-hmm. And we've said what can be done, and it's really just up to the politicians, I guess, Lori Lightfoot to get it together.
I mean, with you having a voice and with you doing what you can, what are some things that you're doing to at least make mental health more aware and at least change things and provide a better space?
I like to provide my Instagram DMs or Twitter DMs, social DMs as like a way for people to vent and just like express how they're feeling. I try to check up on my fans as much as possible, just like on my story, like, how are you feeling today? And let people like say how they're feeling. I think that just giving somebody any form of outlet to express themselves is incredibly important. Even at the release party that I'm having, it's basically an art installation that allows you to experience what I was experiencing while writing the album in my bedroom. And inside of the bedroom set, there's going to be a place where you can like write down your thoughts and then put it in an envelope. And then like in a couple months, I'm going to send it right back to them and they can see like how much they've grown from how they were. Just stuff like that. I think that people's minds are so important. The consciousness is a precious thing that we shouldn't take for granted.
I love it. I love it. I'll definitely make it a thing for me to be there in support of your listening party. You got to let everybody know how they can get in tune with you, your social media. Again, throw that link out there so people can prep for this listening party to come.
Yeah, so socials, Dreamer, Isioma on everything, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. Listening party, it's on my website, dreamerisioma.com. Just click the flyer, bada bing, bada boom, you're gonna be there. But stream Goodnight Dreamer, my debut album. And remember to love yourself. Remember to think deeply about everything. Yeah.